I feel like I could just skip it all. I love the winter holidays. I love the idea of bringing light to the darkness, of bringing the outdoors in, of snowy, sparkling days and cozy hygge nights. But my husband Kevin died in March. So this is my first Christmas as a widow and my son's first Christmas without his father. I'm struggling to navigate the new reality. Like, is it even possible to feel joy this season? And if it is possible, is it okay? The mixed emotions are real, you guys. I'm not going to skip it. And it's not going to just be Christmas as usual either. I'm not even trying to make it be that. I have always had Christmas issues. Like a lot of kids of my generation, I had divorced parents and I got shuffled between families to celebrate the holiday. Only my parents lived 800 miles apart, and my brother and I were usually sent on a journey between them on Christmas Day, because that's when my dad's frequent flyer miles weren't blocked out. For me, it means that I spent most of Christmas Day in cars, on planes, and at airports, and I hated it. The moment I got married and Kevin and I created our own family unit, I made a new rule. No traveling on Christmas, ever. So we didn't. At first, it was just the two of us on Christmas morning playing Santa for one another, opening presents in our pajamas while we sipped coffee and ate cinnamon rolls. Sometimes we went out in the afternoon to play games with friends or walk in the snow, but mostly we just enjoyed each other and the novelty of a whole day with nowhere to be and no one to please but one another. That continued when our son was born. We'd sometimes visit family for Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day was sacred. No matter where we lived or how far we were from the greater mass of our family and friends, Christmas was spent together. And that's how it went for 27 Christmases. This would be number 28. But really, it's number 1 again. New rules, new expectations, and no Kevin. This is not the year to abandon everything and come up with some radical new holiday tech, but it is a year to gently and clearly ask myself, why? We like to talk of tidings of comfort and joy, but do all the traditions we've held on to year after year really provide comfort? Do they really bring joy? Why do I keep doing these things? Sometimes the answer is easy. These brass jingle bells, for instance. I can't wait to dig them out of the decorations box each year. The part of me that prefers Yule over Christmas also doesn't hesitate to embrace the tradition of bringing live greenery and twinkling lights into my home for the season. Those acts hold deep meaning for me because they represent the hope and the belief in life and light, even in the darkest time of year. Other answers are slightly more difficult. I love giving gifts when I find just the right ones for people I love, but I can't tell you this year how many times my eyes went to something that would have been perfect for Kev. Shopping for him isn't something that I can hold on to, but I'm still going to hang his stocking. I did hang his stocking, even if it won't be filled this year. And of course, shopping for my son is a joy, and I love wrapping presents in the collection of furoshiki wraps I've gathered over the past several years. So that's a tradition that I am more than glad to hang on to. My feelings about receiving gifts are complicated. I often feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in my life, but I also can't deny that gifts make me feel seen and loved. I mean, I'm a child of divorce, remember? don't really want more stuff, but I do want to know that someone was thinking about me. I know it's a paradox. I know it doesn't make sense. It is what it is. And I'm really going to miss those presents from Kevin this year. I need a minute. I settled for stuffing my own stocking and buying myself one big present that I know Kevin would have gotten me had he been here. He loved giving technology presents. So there is a new camera waiting under the tree for me. It doesn't matter that I know what it is. If he'd bought it, I would probably know what it was too. And I know that me seeing and loving myself is more important than getting it from anyone else. This was hard when I was writing it. I didn't realize it was going to be so hard delivering it. Another decision that wasn't initially easy was whether or not to make Christmas cookies. I'm not a huge baker, and making pretty much anything in the kitchen isn't the most joyful of processes for me. I like cookies as much as the next person, but they aren't just super important in my life. They are, however, important to my son, and they were important to Kevin. When I asked my son about holiday traditions, he did not hesitate to say that cookies were, and I quote, non-negotiable. And I'm glad to know that. I'm glad I asked, because having asked him and knowing how much he'll appreciate them makes the task into something that I can do out of love rather than resentment. I also asked my son about the Christmas tree. The idea of buying and lugging a huge tree into the house by myself was something I just wasn't feeling this year, and my son agreed that it wasn't the most important thing to him either. So that's something I'm letting go. I still did get a real Christmas tree, but it's a tiny one. It's sitting on a table in the corner. It won't hold all of the ornaments we've collected over the years, but it'll be enough. Another thing that I'm letting go of is what I always thought of as the sacred week between Christmas and New Year's. We really rarely scheduled anything for that week, and that was in part because we needed to prepare for our New Year's party, which I will get to later. But it was also in part because it was our time. It was an extension of Christmas. It was a time out of time that only came around once a year. This year, though, I can't. That week hurts to think about. I decided to travel and spend it with family and friends in Colorado instead of here at home in Los Angeles. And that includes New Year's and the first few days of January. Kevin's birthday is on January 2nd. It's another post-death milestone in quick succession with this first Christmas. He would have been 53 for years until he got sick. We hosted a party on December 31st to celebrate both the New Year and his New Year. I don't know if I will ever host New Year's Eve again. I suspect that I won't, because I can't imagine a time when doing so won't hurt more than it brings joy. So I'll leave the hosting to someone else, and I will allow myself the space that I need to grieve, even while I'm embracing whatever new tradition might be born out of this. I've actually found myself seeking new traditions, or at least new ways to enjoy the holidays this year, and new people to enjoy them with. I'm saying yes a lot, even when it's not easy. Some of my old traditions do hold too much sadness to feel joyful this year, but joy is not a limited resource. I'm not going to turn my back on joy, or even the potential of joy. When a friend suggested we go to the annual tree lighting at Union Station in downtown Denver, I said yes. When some other friends invited me to spend a few days doing Christmassy things in their town, I said yes. I said yes to ice sculptures and the Chris Kindle market. I said yes to a play and yes to a snowy drive through the Rockies. I said yes to garden lights and yes to the most Christmassy hotel I've ever seen. I even said yes to soaking in hot springs on a snowy day by myself. And I will continue saying yes to new memories and new opportunities for joy. This is my first holiday season without him, but it's not a holiday season without warmth or love, without family or friends, without light or music. And it definitely isn't a holiday without joy. Thank you for spending this time with me. And hello. And until next time, I'm wishing you love and joy and all of those good things. And I can't wait to talk to you again. It's a good thing I did my makeup for this, huh?